I stood at the doorway with my suitcase in hand, the dim light of our living room casting long shadows across the floor. Her phone lay on the couch, screen cracked, battery dead, just like whatever we had left between us. The clock on the wall ticked louder than my heartbeat, and for a second, I thought maybe I was imagining all of it. The messages, photos, the truth. I wanted to scream, to rage, to demand answers, but instead I whispered into the emptiness. How could you do this to me, Sarah? We had been married for 8 years. 8 years of shared mornings, whispered dreams, burnt toast, and bills paid late but always together. I thought our life was ordinary, maybe even a little boring at times, but it was ours. Until 3 days ago, when I saw her sitting in that cafe. Not with a friend, not with a colleague, but with him. He was leaning too close, his hand brushing hers across the table. She laughed, a laugh I hadn't heard in months, light and reckless. And then she kissed him. I didn't confront her then. Couldn't. I wanted to believe there was some explanation, work, a meeting, an old friend. But the next night when she worked late again, I checked her tablet. One message was enough to shatter me. Last night was perfect. Can't wait to see you again. R. There it was. The truth, unpolished, unashamed. The night I left, she wasn't home. I packed slowly, shirts, a pair of jeans, my old leather notebook, and the watch she gave me on our wedding anniversary. I didn't know if I was leaving for a night, a week, or forever. But I knew I couldn't sleep under that roof knowing what I knew. When she finally called 2 hours later, her voice was soft, almost rehearsed. Mark, where are you? It's late. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Out. Don't wait up. There was silence, then a tentative. Is something wrong? So many things. The next week was a haze. I stayed with an old friend, Evan, who didn't ask questions he wasn't ready to hear the answers to. I went to work, I ate out of habit, and I lay awake most nights wondering where I went wrong. Was it the long hours I worked to pay off the mortgage? The arguments we brushed under the rug instead of truly resolving? Or was it simply that I had become familiar, and someone else had made her feel alive again? Then came her text. Mark, we need to talk. I almost deleted it. But something in me, some stubborn, bruised piece of my heart, wanted to hear her say it. I wanted her to admit it, to tell me who he was, why him, why now. When we finally met, it was raining. The kind of rain that soaks you no matter how fast you run. She was waiting at our usual cafe, the one we used to visit on lazy Sundays. She looked thinner, paler, her eyes ringed with exhaustion. You left without saying anything, she began, her voice trembling. You didn't give me a chance to explain. I laughed bitterly. Explain. Sarah, I saw you with him. I saw the messages. What's left to explain? Her face crumpled, and for a fleeting second, I saw the woman I married. Not the stranger I'd been imagining for the past week. It's not what you think, she whispered. Oh, it never is it? Just spat back. Go ahead then. Tell me. Was it a mistake? A moment of weakness? Some spark you thought I couldn't give you anymore? She looked down at her hands. I was lonely, Mark. That sentence cut deeper than any confession could. Lonely. We were building a life together. I worked overtime to keep us afloat. I canceled trips to be here when you were sick. My voice broke. I was trying. Her tears fell, quiet but relentless. And I was waiting, always waiting. For you to come home, for you to look at me the way you used to. I didn't mean for this to happen. I stared at her, at the rain dripping off her hair, at the fingers that used to reach for mine in the dark. But it did. The divorce papers came 2 months later. No dramatic fights, no screaming matches. Just signatures on cold white paper. Friends divided themselves between us like spoils of war. My parents called her, a phase we're glad you outgrew. Her sister called me too distant to love. Everyone had an opinion, but no one knew what it felt like to fall asleep with your chest aching and your hand still reaching for someone who wasn't there. Life moved on, or pretended to. I threw myself into work, into running, into anything that didn't involve thinking about her. I even started seeing someone casually, a kind woman named Claire, who never asked too many questions. But every night when I turned off the lights, I saw Sarah's silhouette in the kitchen, barefoot, laughing, saying something about burnt toast. Nearly a year passed before I saw her again. It was late autumn. The leaves had started to fall, and I was walking home after work, the air crisp with the smell of rain-soaked pavement. There she was, leaning against a lamppost near the old bookstore, her hands stuffed in her coat pockets. "Mark," she said, her breath forming little clouds in the cold air. My heart stuttered. "What are you doing here?" "I never left," she said simply. "Not really." I almost laughed. "You erased me, Sarah. You chose him." She shook her head, eyes glistening. "I chose wrong. I ended it. Months ago. He was nothing. A distraction from the emptiness I didn't know how to talk about. And now you want me back. Just like that." "No," she whispered, stepping closer. "I want you to know that I'm still here. That I never stopped hoping you'd let me explain. That what I did was unforgivable, but what we had, it was real." The street lamp buzzed above us. Somewhere in the distance, a car horn blared. And for a moment it was just us, two people standing in the ruins of what used to be love. "Why now?" I asked finally. "Because I heard you're selling the house," she said, her voice cracking. "And I wanted to see you one last time before you closed that door for good." I wish I could say I took her in my arms, that forgiveness swept over me like the first warmth of spring. But the truth is, Messier. "Sarah," I said quietly, "I loved you more than anything. And you broke me." She nodded, tears spilling freely now. "I know. I don't know if I can ever trust you again," I continued. "But I also don't know if I can keep pretending you never existed." Her breath hitched. "So what now?" I didn't have an answer. Maybe I never would. Weeks passed after that night. We met for coffee once, then again. We talked, not about blame, but about the quiet little fractures that had built up between us long before the betrayal. She started therapy. I did too. We spoke of the affair less and less, not because it didn't matter, but because the pain of it had already said everything it needed to. And one rainy evening, standing outside that same cafe where our marriage began to unravel, I told her, "I don't forgive you. Not yet. But I'm willing to see who you are now." She smiled, a sad, tentative smile, the kind that belongs to someone who's lost everything and is grateful just to be standing in the rubble. I didn't move back in. She didn't beg me to. We started slowly. Dinners, long walks, honest conversations that hurt more than silence ever did. Maybe we were foolish. Maybe we were brave. All I know is this. I left carrying a broken heart. I believed she had erased me, replaced me, forgotten me. But when I turned the corner of my own grief, she was still there, waiting, not with promises or apologies, but with the quiet truth. I never stopped loving you. I just forgot how to show it. And sometimes that's not enough. But sometimes it's a start.